Welcome, everyone, to Southern Virginia University Volleyball. Women's volleyball tonight from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan, joined by the men's volleyball coach, Coach Tom Peterson, and we're ready to bring you the Capital Conference opener for the Southern Virginia University Knights, who will be taking on Salisbury tonight. It's a home doubleheader. Salisbury tonight, Tom, and then Wesley coming up Saturday afternoon. And these are going to be huge matches for the Knights to open up Capital Conference play.
Oh, big matches for several reasons. First, to start off the conference, and with a good conference opponent. If they get this match tonight, the Knights are in great shape. And even if they don't get this, if they can split the weekend, it really means a lot for the Knights. The last few years, it's been tough to get these first few conference matches, but the Knights are playing very well right now. And if they win tonight, it's a huge victory for them.
Yeah, looking at the Capital Conference standings, there's only been one match in the Capital Conference so far. That was Mary Washington over Marymount. But when you look at the non-conference records, a lot of teams have good records. Now, how inflated those records might be because of weak non-conference competition, there's no way to say. But Christopher Newport is 13-3. Wesley is 12-4. They're again the opponent tomorrow. York is 12-5 on the season in non-conference action. Frostburg is 11-6. Penn State Harrisburg is 7-5. And Marymount is 7-7. So a lot of good teams out there. And the two teams tonight, Southern Virginia enters with a record of 9-4 on the season. They're taking on Salisbury, who is 11-5 on the season.
You know, I'll just say this about the conference. It's one of the better conferences in the country. So when you talk about a comparison to other conferences and what their matchups have been, it's very hard to get into the head, oh, I beat you, you beat this person and all. Yep. It's just hard to say. But what we can say is this conference is very, very good, and this is a good opponent this evening, very important match.
And I know both these teams have played pretty tough non-conference schedules. The Knights playing a lot of ODAC teams. In fact, they still have a few non-conference matches left on the schedule. Salisbury's played a very difficult non-conference schedule as well.
Yeah, in fact, the teams that are usually at the top of the conference, which Salisbury is a good team, those teams like to play very good competition, and depending where you are geographically, there could be good teams in your geographical area, and it's a little bit easier to play those good teams.
And the Knights will serve first here in set one. Good block by the Knights at the net.
But it got through the block.
It did indeed. And Salisbury will pick up the point. So looking at the Knights, they've got a really reliable front line. Penny Gwynn, Hannah Allred, who was, of course, the Capital Conference Player of the Week for the Knights. And Loans, the freshman, is just doing a great job as Salisbury racks up another point. Knights have had pretty good backcourt play, too. Backline play from McKinley Knight and also Larry Crockett. But, again, a stiff challenge today against the Salisbury Seagulls.
Yeah, they need to start off passing well, both teams. That's a big key.
Set for Allred, and there's a point for the Knights. Again, Hannah Allred was the Capital Conference Player of the Week, and she was able to nail that kill.
Yeah, and if you noticed, Allred was on the right side of the court, right front, but she hit on the left side of the court. That's called stacking.
And that serve went awry, way over to the right side. She kind of mishit that one.
Yeah, a little bit of jitters right to begin with. When they settle down, ball control usually gets better. It's a big match. I'm sure that both teams are just a little bit jittery.
Now Salisbury will be serving. 3-1, Seagulls on top here. Knights trying to get a good setup here. And it's into the net by Gwynn to make it 4-1 Salisbury. As you mentioned, Tom, it would be great if the Knights could get a split this weekend. They'd love to obviously win both these matches against Salisbury today and Wesley tomorrow. But I think they're in pretty good shape if they can get a split for the Capital Conference tournament. Whether you win all two, whether you lose two this weekend, or whether you get that split, there's still a long way to go.
Oh, absolutely. And as a coach and as a team, you don't want to concentrate too much on just one particular match. You do at that time because you want to win so badly. But you just can't, if you happen to lose that match, you just can't let down because all your expectations were riding on just one match.
And about the only thing you could really say that makes this critical, I think, this weekend for the Knights these are home matches. And you should hopefully at least win a majority of your home matches because we know how difficult it is to win on the road.
Absolutely. Home matches are critical. That's usually what it comes down to when there are 2 or 3 or 4 good teams in a conference. It's usually who has the home court advantage right there at the end.
Allred with a little tip. Salisbury very aggressive at the net. The Knights are trying to get their second point of this first set. Good save by Salisbury. And that ceiling came into play, and the Knights are going to get the point.
Yeah, teams that come in here, the ceiling is generally a little bit lower than most everywhere you play. So it can be a home court advantage, but both teams get used to that pretty fast.
Yeah, now McKinley Knight, who has really been a stellar performer this season so far for the Knights, serving. 5-2, Knights trail, and Knights almost picked up a point there. I think we're going to have a point for the Knights. Was that a double hit or 4 hits by Salisbury?
Yeah, I actually didn't see the call. When the referee holds up 2 fingers, it's a double hit. When they hold up 4 hits, it's 4 hits. And I didn't see what the referee did that time.
McKinley Knight serving again with a 2-point deficit now for the Knights, who trail 5-3. Here's Crockett setting it up for Tiggs. It's blocked out of bounds, and it's 5-4.
I think it's also a big key for the success of the Knights tonight. If they can get the other cylinders, I guess you could make an analogy with a car, not just the outside hitters on the left side of the court, but get everybody involved. And Teagues is a big, I don't know, it's a big cylinder tonight, I guess. You have to have a right side attack, and Teagues is a big key to that tonight.
Still there by Salisbury, 6-4 now. And that was Nicole Ventureri, who came in with 235 kills this season. She leads, obviously, Salisbury in that category, serving as Ventureri. Knights trying to get that point back. Allred got it over, but right to the Seagulls, and able to cash it home was Savarese, and it's now 7-4.
Yeah, for those who don't play a lot of volleyball, there's a line called the 10-foot line or the 3-meter line about 10 feet away from the net. And any player can jump from behind that line except the libero and hit the ball. But when you set the ball on the 13 and 14-foot line, it's just very difficult to kill a ball for anyone. And so the back row attack usually tries to put the ball like on the 9-foot line so someone can broad jump and almost be closer to the net, almost like being in the front row to get a kill.
Tailing serve is too short. She just came into the game replacing Tiggs after Gwynn had picked up a kill to make it now 8-5, Salisbury on top. Now the Seagulls will serve. 3-point lead for Salisbury. They've led all the way here in set number 1. Allred really wasn't ready for that kill. Allred with a great dig. Over to Gwynn. And she got it home inside the line.
That was a good play all the way around by the Knights. Great dig. And if you can dig the ball where the setter can actually set a ball and kill the ball, that's called a convert, we call it, and it's a nice conversion by the Knights.
This hit by Salisbury. Knights, Lones gets it over for the easy one. So Lones getting the big point there for the Knights. And the Knights continually are climbing back. They were down 5-1 in set 1, and they have been able to get a little closer thanks to some great play of their front line. Salisbury scrambling for it. Lones gets it over. Now Allred, and that is going to be a point for the Knights.
If you saw that on television or you saw that on a replay or online, you could see that kind of the flow, we call it, was going one direction. The setter set the other direction, and that makes it very hard on the blockers. I'll talk a little more about that in a minute.
And Lones, what a job she has done as a freshman. So the Knights continually climbing back. Gwynn with the serve there. Tough hit for Salisbury. Set up for Lones. Trying to find that opening in the middle of the court. Now Crockett will set up Lones again.
That's a great play. In fact, that's her bread and butter play. The little set right in front of the setter that's not very quick and that's not very high. It's right in the middle where Lones can hit it about 5 or 6 feet away from the setter. And so it is 8-10. That's what the scoreboard says right now. Timeout.
The Knights again trailed early here, Tom, 5-1. So great to rally here in set number 1 for the Knights.
Yeah, and they did it with a little bit better ball control. I think the jitters are out of their system now, so that under control a little bit more, able to get the ball to their power hitters.
By the way, soccer will be in action tomorrow, of course, Tom, and then, of course, football, New Jersey Athletic Conference for the Knights. They'll be playing at Wesley. What a tough matchup. Wesley is number 23 in the country. Of course, Frostburg is one of the tougher teams, too, in the New Jersey Athletic Conference in football, and that'll be the home game coming up, the final conference home game for the Knights in a few weeks on a Friday, October the 27th. That's coming up 4 weeks from tonight. And the Knights' next to last home game will be homecoming against Apprentice on October the 7th.
I'd like to give a little shout out to the football team and the football coaching staff. I think that they've done a wonderful job, and then you wouldn't just see online by looking at statistics, that team is just doing great, because we haven't really won a game yet. The Knights haven't, but they're so close and they're getting so much better. The coaching staff has just done a wonderful job.
Amen to that. 10-8 is your score. Knights getting a great look at the net. Now Allred will set it up and get it back and score the point. Hannah Allred.
You know, Hannah Allred, once again, Player of the Week last week for the conference, and she looks like she's still going to continue being on fire.
Here comes Gwynn serving again. And some miscommunication on the part of Salisbury. They couldn't decide who was going to take that, and as a result, the Knights now have a 12-8 lead. So Southern Virginia on a roll here, trailing 5-1 early, now 12-8 Knights. Gwynn serving again. Good dig there by Gwynn. Gwynn smokes it home. Boy, and another good set by Larry Crockett.
Yeah, now if you looked at that, Gwynn had a nice approach from the back row. She was able to take off behind that line, but still get a lot of power on the ball because it was a good set, about on the 10-foot line.
13-8. And that one is too far for Salisbury. Now 14-8 Knights.
Yeah, Salisbury scrambling here a little bit if the Knights can just keep the ball in.
Another timeout is taken too.
Yeah.
Remember, they trailed here 5-1, so they have outscored Salisbury 11-3.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Talking to the coaches, the Knights, Southern Virginia coaches, they said they thought they lined up against Salisbury very well. They thought they had better power on the outside, and if they had good ball control tonight, they'd be able to win if they could just get the ball to their power, which is usually on the pins. And
they've actually outscored Salisbury 13-3. Make that since they were trailing 5-1. It just seems Salisbury started off like a house on fire, and after that 5-1 lead, the Knights kind of really righted the ship a little bit, and now the Knights have a big lead here of 6, 14-8. And Salisbury able to get that kill as Hoteling was not able to stop Sydney Davis, who was able to find an open spot on the floor for Salisbury's 9th point.
Yeah, Davis hitting what you call a slide, taking off 1 foot from behind the setter, going around the setter, taking off 1 foot, and it's just a hard play to stop if you execute it well.
Now we'll see if Salisbury goes on a run or the Knights can stop it at 1 point. Seagull serving. Knights trying to get it to Allred, and she tips it over. Almost getting the point right there. Crockett will set up Allred again, and she scores again. Allred with another kill.
I bet you Allred, we don't have stats to look at right now, but I bet you Allred is hitting close to 500 or above 500, continuing her hot streak.
15-9, Knights by 6. Loness serving, and a miss hit by Salisbury for another point for the Knights. 16-9 Knights.
Yeah, our viewpoint here is right behind the server, and if you watch the ball, if it doesn't have spin on it, you try not to put spin on it. The air current in the gym really takes it places. That ball moved around a lot.
Block it by the Knights, but it's to no avail as Salisbury is able to pick up the point to make it 16-10. So the Seagulls, the only way they're going to be able to get back into the set is to really go on a run here. They're down by 6.
Yeah, well, the Knights are playing well. It's going to be tough to come back, at least in this first set. So it's important to see who has the momentum going into the second set.
It'll be Crockett. Setting up Allred, and she drives it home for the point.
Wow. You know, what's impressive about that is Salisbury had all three blockers right there in the middle where the set took Allred, and Allred was able to find a hole and even hit it over the block that time. Very
and
impressive.
now Larry Crockett, who's been doing a lot of setting for the Knights tonight here in the set one, serving for the Knights, who have a 7-point lead, 17-10. Oh, almost a dig by McKinley Knight. What an acrobatic move she made to try to reach that ball. It's 17-11.
Yeah, I'd just like to say something about McKinley Knight. She has been, maybe she's the most improved on the team. The coaches think that. You count digs per set, how many times you dig the ball, and Knight has just continued to improve that number to where I think last match she had 7 digs a set, and that's huge.
Over to Tiggs, and another good set by Crockett. It looked like Salisbury was thinking she was going to go to Southern Virginia's left side, and she went over to the right to Tiggs.
Yeah, that reverse flow, once again, if you can get the blockers moving one way and set it a different way, it's a lot easier for the hitter.
Allred serving with a 7-point lead now, 18-11. Tough set there, but Salisbury able to get it home. And again, that was number 9, Nicole Venturelli, their junior, who leads their team in kills with over 230 for the season to make it 18-12.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 times in the last 3 or 4 swings that the ball was tipped. Let's see if the Knights can adjust.
And a service error helps the Knights. 19-12, Southern Virginia by 7 as Lones will check back in, replacing the Knights player who came in just momentarily.
Yeah, those 2 middle blockers go in and out with the libero, if you see that.
Good block by Southern Virginia. Lones back across quickly. Good dig by Allred. Over to Lones. Good dig again by Allred. Now Gwynn will try it. Great save by Salisbury. What a point, Tom. And the Knights actually get the point thanks to the fan.
If you see, I don't know if you can see this online, but there are big fans on both sides of the court. And if the ball goes up and just hits that fan just right, the ball really takes off.
Knights serving again. Good block by the Knights, and it goes over the head of McKinley Knight, so it's a point for Salisbury.
Sometimes the setter likes to go set the ball if they feel like they can just take off. It's hard to stay back and dig on that particular time. The ball went off the block in a little bit different angle.
Over to Gwynn, who drives it home, but it's too far.
Oh, they called a touch on the block.
They do call it a block on Salisbury, so the Knights will get the point.
21-13.
Knights by 8. And they just want to keep this momentum going, Tom, for set 2, which is just a few minutes away.
Absolutely.
Hoteling, another low serve. That one went across. Her first one didn't. Good block by the Knights. And Salisbury just gets it back across. Over to Lones, and a good block by the Seagulls.
Yeah, and that was a slide. The Knights tried to hit a slide themselves, and it just didn't seem like the approach of the hitter was where the ball was going to be set. Just connecting in back of the setter is going to be important, especially later on in the season.
Now the Knights will try to go back to work and get this point with Gwynn. No stopping that.
So going back to their power, both Gwynn and Allred on the left side of the court. And now Teagues looks like she's on fire as well, so their pin hitters are doing very well. And Gwynn really has that ability to hit the ball down the line. She hit it past the block and hit it hard.
And now Gwynn will serve. Knights are 3 points away from first set victory. Good block by Lones. And Allred drives it home. But it's back across. Salisbury gets the point. Knights not able to return that.
Yeah, I bet you Allred wish she had that back. She would have dug that ball a little bit better if she would have had it back. 22-15.
So the Knights still have a healthy 7-point lead, and again, they just need 3 points here for this set 1 win. Seagulls trying to get a little momentum for the remaining sets in this match. Don't know if they can make the comeback here in set 1. Crockett sets up Lones, little tip. Tipped over by Salisbury, but the point is awarded to Southern Virginia.
Now that's an interesting call. It's a very technical call. The libero, it's not legal for the libero to come in front of the 10-foot line and set a hitter. She has to stay behind that line, and if she sets the hitter in front of the 10-foot line, she has to pass it with her arms or way below the net. But if you set the ball with your hands and you're in front of the 10-foot line and you're the libero, that's illegal. It's a very technical call.
And Loness serving with the Knights needing just 2 points for the victory. And they pick up the point. Now it is set point here for the Knights as they'll try to pick up the opening set victory. 24-15.
Yes, 24-15.
By 9.
Be good for the Knights to get it right here.
Went over on the net. Salisbury blocked out of bounds by the Knights, so it's 24-16. And now McKinley Knight will check back in, replacing Loness as the Knights try to nail down set number 1.
Just a good pass. We'll probably do it here. Knights trailed early here in set 1, 5-1. Seagulls serving. Pretty good
Crockett.
Pass.
Missed hit on the setup there. Higher was out there, but not sure she was expecting that. So
Yeah,
it's 24-17.
Just miscommunication. What kind of set?
Seagulls will serve. Knight to Crockett. And Gwynn out of bounds.
Another 10-foot swing. Gwynn had some power on that. She just hit it left to the left side of her body and hit it out of bounds. And I imagine the Knights will call a timeout if they don't get this point.
They're a little bit out of sync right now. Gwynn fires it into the net, and the Knights might need that timeout. We'll see if they take it or not. Looks like they're going to. Let's see. Nope, no timeout. 24-19 is your score now. Let's see. This could be the point that Seagulls, if they get another point, Knights might take that timeout. Allred will try to end it, and she put it right into the net. It's 24-20, and now I think the Knights will go ahead and take that timeout.
Yeah. It's a real interesting decision for the coach. When am I going to take timeout? And,
especially since you've got one in the pocket beyond that timeout.
Yeah, you can take another timeout after that. And usually the coach knows a lot better than the fans, a lot better than us as announcers, what their team is like and how they're playing.
And Nicole Gwynn has just done a great job as coach. And the Knights, who once led 24-15, now are on top here 24-20 in set 1. Still a lot of opportunities here for the Knights, a lot of set points coming up. They still have several more chances. The one thing they don't want to see, obviously, is to give a little spark of life to Salisbury for set 2.
Absolutely. And even as it is right now, Salisbury probably thinks they have a little chance in the second game. Oh, we came back and we have momentum going. So it was unfortunate not to put this away a little bit earlier. But this one, here's another important serve, another important point for the Knights. They have
right
4
now, the
game
Knights are
points.
just thinking about that 25th point to try to wrap up set 1. And Crockett setting up Allred. There's your point. Knights win it 25-20. And that was a set really dominated on the front line by Allred and Gwynn, and certainly Laree Crockett. Boy, a lot of sets that she had in that first set.
Yeah, I'd like to compliment her once again. She sets a 5-1, Crockett does. That just means there's only one setter, so she has to set 3 times when she's in the back row and 3 times when she's in the front row. And when she is in the front row, there are only 2 hitters. She's doing a wonderful job of running the offense. In fact, Teague's on the right side of the court. I imagine she's hitting 500, and the left side hitters are hitting 500 somewhere in there. Well, maybe not, because there were some back row mistakes. How you figure out percentage, when I say 500, that means you take the number of kills and you minus the errors. And a block is considered an error if someone blocks you. Also, if you just hit it out of bounds. And then over total attempts. And if you're above about 300, that means you're really, really good. And I bet you the Knights are, at least in the front row, pretty close to 500.
And that really was, that first set was a set of runs for each team against Salisbury, starting off very good. They led 5-1 early. Then the Knights took charge and actually built up a 9-point lead at 24-15. Then Salisbury was able to go on a 5-point run to put a little excitement into it before the Knights were able to put it away 25-20. And now all-important set 2 is just a couple of seconds away here, and it is a big, big set as far as this match is concerned. If the Knights can take it, they're in a fantastic shape, leading 2-0. If Salisbury takes that set, second set, then obviously this remains anybody's match.
Yeah, there are 3 minutes between each set, unless it's between set 2 and 3, and then there are 10 minutes. So it's not a lot of time to regroup. And so when you're talking to the team as a coach during those 3 minutes, you probably are talking for about a minute's worth. And if you're Salisbury, you're probably saying, look at that. We came back. All we had to do is just keep going. Come on, let's get going for this next game. But if you're the Knights, you're really emphasizing, you guys, we had this. We just let them come back. And so it's an interesting way you talk to your team, depending on momentum. Yeah.
And Salisbury had some points that they're probably regretting. I think one hit the ceiling and they lost that point. Another hit the ceiling fan. They had 2 service errors. They had one point, I remember, where they had 2 players look at each other and the ball dropped right between them. So the Seagulls made quite a lot of mistakes in that first set.
Yeah, I would imagine that the Seagulls are thinking, wow, these Knights are good. Last year, I don't think that the match was quite the same. Coming into this and the home court advantage that the Knights have and how good they are playing right now, I imagine if you're the Seagulls, you're just kind of go, wow, these guys are good, and now we got to settle down so that we can get this second game. But I imagine it's a little bit surprising to them how good the Knights are.
And the Knights will be at home again tomorrow, taking on Wesley tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Wesley is playing on the road tonight at Frostburg, so you wonder what shape the Wolverines will be in for Saturday's match with the Knights.
Oh, absolutely. And if you were to analyze this, at least if I were analyzing this, I would pick tomorrow as the easier match, and you never really know that. But like I said, tonight, if the Knights are come out on top, and tomorrow they're going to have confidence, they're going to have the home court advantage. Maybe the other team's a little weary, road weary. They have a lot of advantages by this game tonight.
Well, you know, Tom, you had to figure the Knights headed into this 2017 season thinking we've got to make the Capital Conference Tournament after last year playing so well at times, but not being able to make the conference tournament.
Yeah, in my mind anyway, if the Knights win this, and if I were coaching the Knights, I would think, gosh, we have a great opportunity. If we win this match tonight, and that can just give your team a real boost of confidence for the rest of the season.
How about that block by the Knights? They blocked the top kill artist for Salisbury and Nicole Venturelli.
Yeah,
so Allred will serve now.
Yeah, it looks like the Knights are just a little bit taller up front, and they have a good block. It's a little intimidating right now.
Good dig there by the Knights. Knights set is a little off kilter, and that really cost Southern Virginia on that point.
Yeah, for those who don't know just all of the rules, there are antennas that you see at the ends of the net, and the ball has to go inside the antenna across the net to be legal.
Knights will try to get that point back. And somehow Salisbury able to get it back across. Now Gwynn down the line for the point.
Oh, my.
Boy, that was right on the line.
What a great shot by Gwynn. She saw that. She had to have seen that because the blocker was nowhere near where she hit that ball right straight down the line. Great swing.
There's McKinley Knight serving with a 2-1 lead for Southern Virginia. Good block again by the Knights. Another block, that one by Loness.
Oh.
Wow, Salisbury able to sneak that one across.
Yeah, they tipped the ball, and it looked like it was going to go wide, and I think it was kind of a very close call. But the linesperson called the ball in. Any part of the ball touches the line, it's called in.
2-2, all even here in set 2 after the Knights won the first set, 25-20. Allred to Crockett. Over to Tiggs, and Salisbury trying to get it back across. Venturelli did. Quick over by Crockett. Knight to Crockett to Loness for a little tip, and she scores the point.
Again, Loness hitting that ball that's 4 or 5 feet away from the setter, able to tip it, able to swing at it. That's just her bread and butter, I think.
Hard to believe that she is, again, just a freshman.
Absolutely. She has to have some recognition as being something, maybe not the freshman of the year in the conference, and if she's not, she's got to be close, but there should be an award for those that an all-freshman team. She has to make that.
Crockett to Gwynn, blocked by the Seagulls, who are playing a lot better here in set 2 than they did in the latter stages of set 1. We're all even at 3.
We've said this before, the game 2 or set 2 is maybe even more important than game 1. Both teams coming out playing hard.
Salisbury a little confused, and they're not going to get it back across, and the Knights have taken a 4-3 lead. And now Gwynn will serve. Knights looking to go on a little run here to try to pull away a little bit here in set 2 with a 4-3 lead now. Good solid serve by Gwynn. Blocked by the Knights, but blocked out of bounds.
Yeah, if you look at the blocker's hands, if they're not over the net, they're kind of straight up in the air, it's a lot easier for the ball to kind of ricochet off hands. If they're up straight, the hands have to be at an angle, reaching over the net.
4-4 is your score. Knight will have to get it back across. Seagulls will set up Sydney Davis. It is blocked by Allred.
That's kind of her signature block. Allred, if you watch her block, she swing blocks. She swings her arms, but not a full swing. It's kind of a modified swing, but then she reaches outside her body line as well as any player I've seen for quite a while.
Loness serves with a 5-4 lead, and a miss hit by Venturelli. And maybe, again, it was that great serve by Loness that caused that.
Absolutely. And let me go back to what Allred did. She reaches her arms over the net when she blocks, but then she has such long arms that she's able to reach a little bit farther than most players can reach.
Blocked by the Knights. 6-4 your score. Salisbury gets it back across. They're going to go to Allred, and it's blocked out of bounds. 7-4 Knights.
The Knights are having a lot of success this evening, hitting down the line.
How about an early timeout here, Tom, by the Seagulls? Are you surprised they're taking a timeout this early? They did this in set 1, I think.
Yeah, I think the better the team, usually the timeouts come quicker. You can't let another team go on a very long run. When you're not playing very well or you're not a good team, you kind of wait for your timeouts at a little more or later stages of the match. But if you're playing a good team and you're a good team and you let the other team go on a 2, 3, 4-point run, you can't let it go any further, so you call a timeout.
And so the Knights are on top here 7-4. And a 3-point lead, and they're just going to try to continue to build on this lead. This would be huge for the Knights if they could win set 2 and take a 2-0 set lead. They would still have to win one more set, but that would put them in great shape.
Yeah, again, the second set is very important. If you're up 2-0, it is so much harder for the other team to come back. Luckily, if you're down 2-0, there's that 10-minute break, and momentum can switch just because of the long break. But right now, the Knights look like they're going to be playing pretty nice no matter what's going on.
Loness continuing to serve. 7-4 Knights. Blocked out of bounds that time by the Knights, so it's 7-5 now.
and Allred blocking on that ball, even when she gets to move her arms around. Sometimes you just, a little bit of mistake where you put your arms. That time she kind of reached into an area that she didn't really, where the hitter was really not hitting.
Madison Lim now serving for the Seagulls, 7-5. Knights by 2. Crockett. Long hit by Gwynn, and she was able to sneak it through. 8-5.
Now that's a hit from the back row again, but you saw how good a pass that was right to Crockett, setting the ball, and the ball was set in such a manner that Gwynn just had a real easy approach, can jump close to the 10-foot line, and that's how you kill a back row set.
Crockett will serve 8-5. Just got that one across, a low serve. Good dig there by Gwynn. Got it back across without on the first hit, but there looks like they're going to give the point to the Seagulls to make it 8-6.
Good dig, but the ball did hit the ceiling that time on the way over.
And so it is 8-6 now. The Seagulls on top here are trailing by 2, and Allison Losella, a defensive specialist, will go ahead and serve here for the Seagulls, who now trail 8-6. Knight to Crockett. And some miscommunication. It looked like that was set for Tiggs, but she thought Allred might take it.
Yeah, that was kind of in between both the approaches of both hitters. Sometimes it's hard to know if somebody else is getting right next to you, who it's supposed to go to. 8-7
is your score. So Seagulls on a run, and there's a service error that helps out the Knights a little bit to make it 9-7. Allred will now serve, and here's a point of the game, Tom, where the Knights really could use a 3 or 4 point run.
Yeah, in fact, if they can get Salisbury to take a timeout. That's a
Wow, what a serve by Allred.
very nice serve. Yeah.
See, the Seagulls were never able to handle that serve by Allred. It looked like he was spinning out of control.
Yeah. Look how far Allred stands back to start her approach, too. It's very interesting. It's hard sometimes. A lot of courts don't have this much room.
10-7. Another long serve by Allred. Knights will try to challenge. Knight not able to pick that one off the floor, so it's 10-8.
Yeah, the hands, that went through the hands that time. We could say it's a field goal through the blocker that time.
Knights still ahead here by 2. It'll be Gwynn.
Wow.
Tough shot by Gwynn there. Somehow the Seagulls were able to get that back across and off the hands of Crockett for a point for Salisbury to make it 10-9.
Nice play by Salisbury, a nice pickup because Gwynn just crushed the ball, but nice dig.
Sydney Davis will serve for the Seagulls. It is a 10-9 Knights lead, and Gwynn not able to stop that as Salisbury. Gwynn with another big kill. It's 11-9 Knights.
Okay, now where Gwynn got dug just a minute ago, she hit that cross court and it went right to it there. This time she hit it down the line, and we call that a fan. A fan meaning you're I don't know how far you can hit it down the line. You can hit a cross court. That's hard on a blocker if you can hit all those angles.
And there is Venturelli again getting a kill to make it 11-10.
This is a good game going on, or good set.
Nicole Venturelli, again, she's the top kill artist for Salisbury. She's only 5'9".
She has a lot of power for 5'9".
Here's Crockett setting up low nest. Blocked by Salisbury. Knight over to Tiggs. And Salisbury gets that back across. Allred to Crockett. And now Gwynn with a little tip. Salisbury gets it back across with the left hand. Crockett this time will set up Allred for a long shot. Good point here. And it's out. And the Knights pick up the point to go ahead now 12-10. That was a key point maybe in this second set as the Knights were able to fend off the Seagulls that time.
Yeah, the good defensive plays by both teams, but some tips going on. If I were the Knights, you'd say to each other, let's don't tip the ball because Salisbury has a person right up that's covering for the tip. They call it a man up.
Blocked by the Knights, blocked by Low Ness. Low Ness to Crockett to Gwynn. Oh, what a shot by Gwynn. 13-10 Knights. Boy, when Gwynn gets up and is ready to go for a kill shot, she is really, really tough to stop.
13-10. That's, boy, she's hitting the ball cross court and down the line, just nowhere really in between. It's really impressive.
Good serve by Hoteling to make it 14-10. So the Knights are trying to get that little run here to give them a little breathing space, and they've been able to expand that lead now to 4. They won the first set 25-20.
Yeah, Hoteling has a good serve. See if she can get this one in, and she does.
Another low serve that just went over, 14-10. And there is Venturelli getting a kill to make it 14-11.
Good set.
Venturelli will serve. As you mentioned, Tom, she's not very big, only 5'9", but again, she came in with 235 kills on the season. Seagulls trying to get it back across. They do. Allred. It is put it back across by the Seagulls for the point to make it 14-12 as the Seagulls, trailing at this point 14-10, have rattled off 2 straight points to make it 14-12 as the Knights are trying to stop this little run by the Seagulls now.
Absolutely. There's a good pass.
Gwynn. Well, there's a point for Gwynn. Gwynn with another kill to make it 15-12. That's going to be key, not just tonight, but really all season for the Knights to try to put a stop whenever the opposition has got a little run going.
I think that was a different set. They have names for all these different sets, but it's a little inside on purpose, and she hit inside the block.
Good save by Gwynn. Over to Hoteling. They'll go over Hoteling's side for the putback. And that one is in for Salisbury. That was a good kill by the Seagulls. Number 22, Lacey Swartout, who is second on the team with 124 kills, able to get that one.
13-15. This has turned into a very competitive set.
Knights looking for this point. And a good strong hit by Allred for the point to make it 16-13. And those are going to be clutch points in this match to just try to keep Salisbury, whenever they score a point or two, to make sure they don't go on a 3 or 4 point run.
Yeah, usually either Gwynn or Allred just takes charge at that pressure point.
Loness with a good serve. 16-13 Knights. It's going to be Allred. And the point goes to the Knights again.
Yeah, it's hard to tip a ball to get a kill. It works when you have a good set and you look like you're going to swing and you tip the ball. That's hard to pick up. But if you have to tip, usually the defense can read that a little bit easier and pick it up. I would really concentrate. Both teams could concentrate to make sure there's a good swing, because, and that should give the advantage to the Knights anyway because of such strong pin hitters. And
so another timeout is taken by Salisbury. By my count, Salisbury's taken 4 timeouts in 2 sets. The Knights have just 1 timeout taken. And the Knights have a 17-13 lead here. And obviously the Salisbury coaching staff thinking they cannot afford to fall farther behind, down by 4 already here in set 2 after they lost the first set, 25-20.
Yeah, I actually like, from a coaching aspect, I like when Salisbury, the times that they've taken timeouts, this set has been very close, and you can't wait for 17, 18 points, 19 points to take a timeout, right, because the game's over, the match is over.
Now Loness will serve again with a 4-point lead. She'd love to get an ace here right after that Salisbury timeout.
Another good serve.
Venturelli, dig by Hoteling. And the Knights somehow got that back across. There was some miscommunication for the Knights. Battle at the net by Allred. Great dig there by Allred, but it's out of bounds on the hit by Heyer to make it 17-14.
Yeah, just the connection on the Knights side between the setter and that middle hitter has been a little bit critical. Just not sure what the set is going to be and where the hitter's going. They could probably here in this pressure situation just go outside and let that power hitter hit the ball.
17-14, Knights with a 3-point lead.
I'm guessing it'll go to Allred right here.
And we'll see if they do.
Crockett, no, it's going back.
The higher.
They called the ball not crossing the net, even though it may have touched the blocker. If it goes through the net or into the net and then touches the blocker, that's still not a contact. It has to go over and touch the actual hands of the blocker.
And the Knights will send Lasika into the game at 17-15. The Seagulls have put together a little 2-point run themselves here to go from 4 down only to 2 down. So this is a critical point coming up here for Southern Virginia.
Yes, it is. It's a pressure situation.
Served by the Seagulls.
Good pass.
And they'll go to Allred, and she is able to get it.
Allred can hit that cross court very well, and the blockers just didn't cover that angle. And Allred, it's called wrist away when you don't just face where you're hitting, but you kind of hit with your wrist toward the outside of the court. And that was a great swing that time.
18-15, Knights by 3. That shot is going to be too far, I believe. And the Knights will get the point to make it 19-15. So the Knights are back to a 4-point lead here. 6 away from victory here in set 2. They won the first set 25-20.
This is critical for Salisbury, this point.
Oh, what a save by Crockett. It hit the net and rolled over.
I'm sure that was planned. Crockett with a good serve. It's just a good time to get another point. So usually those equal out, but we will see.
20-15 Knights. Another strong serve there by Crockett. Davis will try to get the point, and she does. Sydney Davis, the middle hitter, senior from Laurel, Maryland, makes it 20-16. Still, the Knights are in pretty good shape as long as they don't allow Salisbury to go on a run.
Absolutely. You know, the slide by Salisbury looks like it's very effective. I would keep doing that if I were Salisbury.
Yeah, it's been Davis's. She's been having a lot of success with that. Knights not able to get back that one across. As Allred hit a little too far. It's 20-17.
Critical situation once again.
Boy, if the Seagulls score here, would the Knights maybe take a timeout?
Yeah, you could. You might wait.
There's a service error.
Well, moot point now. So
And the Seagulls, when you're trailing, as they were in set one and trailing here in set two, you just can't afford those service errors.
Yeah, absolutely. Serve and serve receive. You just ingrain that in your players. We've got to get better and better at that.
21-17, Knights back to a 4-point lead. And blocked by the Knights. I think that was Tiggs at the net blocking Venturelli.
It's fun to watch Tiggs when she gets a good swing or a good block. She really celebrates. And the Knights celebrate in the right way. They don't turn to the other team and yell and scream and have fun, but they turn to their own team. It's fun.
22-17, and another service ace. This one over the net by Allred to make it 23-17. That's got to be frustrating for the Seagulls.
There's not much you can do about that. If the ball hits the net and rolls over, you just say, okay, next point. But it sure makes it tough when it's in a critical situation. 2
of those now for the Knights, 23-17. Seagulls trying to get it back across, down by 6. Crockett to Gwynn. And the Seagulls get it back over. And that one's too far for the Seagulls. It is 24-17 Knights.
Wow.
What a great run. They were ahead 20-17, and Tom, they've been able to rattle off 4 straight points.
Yeah, absolutely, and no timeouts, so they were able to continue.
Allred on set point. What a save by Gwynn.
Yep.
It's Tiggs. Seagulls go to the left side and get the point to make it 24-18.
Good play by Salisbury to keep the ball alive.
Still, just like set one, the Knights have plenty of set point chances as Davis will serve here. They go to Tiggs, and she gets the point.
Great game, great set by the Knights. Even when they missed a serve or they made a little boo-boo here and there, they just came back the next point or the point after. Just a really nice game. So 25-18 was the final score in that set.
25-20 in the first set, 25-18 in the second set. And so this has been a tremendous match so far. I'm sure Nicole Gwynn, the head coach of the Knights, will tell you, got to win 3 sets, though, before you can claim the match.
Yep, and now there's a long break, so it's a chance for Salisbury to kind of settle down, go over some strategy, and try to change this momentum. But for sure right now the Knights are on their game, their A game.
So the Knights are in great shape right now, leading 2-0. They're just 1 set away from winning their Capital Conference opener, the opening match in the Capital Conference against Salisbury. The Knights won the first set 25-20. They just took that second set 25-18. And we'll take a little break here of a few minutes and come back for set 3 in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Welcome back to the Night Sports Arena. Again, Jim Bresnahan and Tom Peterson, Coach Tom Peterson, the head coach for the men's volleyball team here at Southern Virginia University. We are 2 sets into this match. This is, again, the Capital Conference opener for both teams, for Southern Virginia and for Salisbury. And the Knights were able to win the first set 25-20. They were able to take the second set 25-18. And we've got the numbers through 2 sets, Tom, and really dominated by the Knights when it comes to kills by Penny Gwynn and Hannah Allred. And, boy, 25 assists for Laree Crockett. And the Knights also had 7 service aces in those first 2 sets.
Yeah, 7 aces is big because they only had 2 service errors. That's a ratio that coaches look at, ace to error ratio. And if you're even, like 5 and 5, you kind of say, well, we did pretty well because that's 5 points. And the errors don't really count, as big against you because you have a chance to win those points in other ways. So 7 aces, only 2 errors, that's great compared to 0 aces for Salisbury.
Well, the Knights, by the way, in their 3 home matches so far this season, they have swept their 3 opponents, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 over Eastern Mennonite, Roanoke, and Emory and Henry. They're trying to make it 4 in a row by winning this 3rd set and, more importantly, winning their Capital Conference opener as set 3 is ready to start with Laree Crockett serving. And right off the bat, Hannah Allred with a kill.
An overpass. The other night when we watched the last home match from the Knights, they weren't quite ready like Allred was for that overpass. That was just a down ball for her almost.
Crockett will serve, 1-0 Knights. Allred puts it right home, 2-0. And Allred is off to a fantastic start here in set 3 after she compiled 11 kills in the first 2 sets.
Yeah, in the first 2 sets, Hannah Allred, I think she hit 588, and that's good for any hitter anywhere in the country.
And Crockett gets a service error right there. As far as service errors are concerned tonight, that was just the 3rd for the Knights. It's 2-1.
Yeah, that's too bad for the Knights. You don't want to stop your momentum by yourself.
And a miss hit by Allred. Bad miss hit there to make it 2-2. So just as soon as the Knights get off to a great start, 2-0, they miss-hit a couple of balls, and it's right back to even at 2-2.
Yeah, I call that ball handling. Whatever happens, serve and serve receive, and at the net, handling the ball. Got to take care of that.
They go back line to Gwynn for the point. Well, Gwynn with her 11th kill of the night.
Well, Gwynn already probably has 6 attempts from the back row, and that's actually unusual in women's volleyball. They don't usually set the back row that much in women's volleyball. It's hard to kill it.
Of course, Penny Gwynn is a special exception.
Exactly.
3-2, Knights by 1. And
Whoa.
There's a kill by Venturelli, and I'm telling you, she is amazing. Nicole Venturelli, the junior, and that is her 14th kill of the night.
Yeah, in the first 2 sets, she hit 417. So the Knights would like to try to stop her momentum a little bit as a hitter.
Crockett will go back over to Tiggs, and
what are they? They're going to call that ball in.
Yep. Tiggs just able to get it inside the line for a 4-3 lead, and now the Knights will try to maybe go on a little run here with McKinley Knight serving.
Boy, hitting down the line by the Knights this evening has really been impressive as well.
Block attempt by the Knights, not able to do it that time. 4-4 now. And Venturelli serving here. Seagulls trying to go on a run. Knights trying to go on a run. Knights are on top here, 2-0 in set 3. Set goes to Lonis. Tipped back across by the Seagulls. Over to Gwynn. Good save there by the Seagulls. And an attempt by Crockett to dig that one out unsuccessful. And Salisbury's on top here now, 5-4.
Salisbury, nice play, nice defensive plays by Salisbury. You'd like to see Venturelli go back to serve and get out of the front row if you're the Knights, but so far she's serving well as well as hitting.
And Lonis is blocked at the net, and suddenly Salisbury is on top here and trying to pull away.
Yeah, 6-4.
Venturelli still serving for the Seagulls. And a service error by the Seagulls gives the Knights a little break there, 6-5. That is the fourth service error so far in this match for the Seagulls, with Hoteling now into serve.
Yeah, both too many errors by both teams, and stopping, especially the momentum.
6-5 is your score. Great serve by Hoteling to tie it at 6.
So far, serve and serve receive is determining how this set is starting out.
I believe that is the 8th ace tonight for the Knights, who have really racked up some service aces. And that one's going to go in the net for a service error.
7-6 for Salisbury.
Seagulls back on top. Each team is trying to put together a run here in set 3. They'll go to Loness, and she'll get the point to make it 7-7.
You know, what I've observed from Loness, when she's going for that, take off of 1 foot behind the setter, she now comes a little bit wider, and she's able to control her body just a little bit more, and it doesn't have to be quite as a...
Good serve by Gwen. Crockett tries to get the quick kill. Now Allred will do it.
Yeah. You don't have to be quite so precise if you can come farther away from the setter to hit that slide.
Knights are on top here, 8-7 now. Trying to get that little run to give them a little breathing space here in this third set. Nice low serve there by Gwen, a hard serve. Seagulls get it over, and they'll get the point.
Looks like they called someone into the net.
And that ties it at 8. Madison Lim now will serve, defensive specialist for the Seagulls in this 8-8 game here in set 3.
Good
Hoteling
pass.
over to Loness. A great kill by Loness, right down the line from right to left to make it 9-8 Knights.
Yeah, Loness has a good arm, especially for a freshman. And when she just gets a good look at the ball without having to swing at it too fast, reaching for it, she can really clobber the ball.
Good serve, but it went too far, and it's 9-9. As Loness will check out, and Knight will check back in for the Knights.
Wow, lots of service errors. As opposed to the first 2 sets, no service errors for the Knights.
9-9 is your score. Crockett will set up higher. It is blocked by the Seagulls. Now the Knights will try Gwen. And that shot is ruled in.
Yeah, the Salisbury looked like they thought it was going out, and it did look like it was going out. But Gwen able to take a little off of that ball, not swing as hard as she could, and it rolled in the court.
Tiggs back in for Hoteling, 10-9 with Crockett serving. And a miss hit by Salisbury makes it 11-9, Southern Virginia. And this is a critical point here in set 3, with the Knights already leading 2-0. They're trying to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, if they can get a few more points up.
I would imagine we'll see a timeout,
Exactly.
first of all, by the Seagulls. That is going to be another service error on Crockett. She hit it a little too far. It's 11-10.
Wow, just not letting either team pull away because of the team's own mistakes.
Seagulls have had a few service errors tonight as well. Crockett to higher. Seagulls will go for the kill. Blocked by the Knights. They go to Knight, over to Crockett. Now to be Allred. And that's going to be a point for the Knights. Blocked, but way, way in the back. Blocked by Seagulls. It's 12-10 Knights.
You know, that's such a good hit. Was that Gwen, or was that was Allred?
Yeah, Allred, 12-10,
yeah.
And Allred now serves. Good serve by Hannah. Oh, great dig there by the Knights. And Allred not able to get that back across. She was a little off balance trying to get that set up from McKinley Knight back across, and now it is 12-11.
Yeah, going back to the hit by Allred, hitting it off the blocker's hands, that's difficult to do. Only really experienced hitters can have that feel of hitting it off the blocker's hands.
Crockett setting up Gwen, and the point goes to the Knights.
For example, right there, hitting the ball off the blocker's arms. it sure even looked like Gwen could see that. Well, I'm just going to hit this part of this arm right here and just get a point off of it by a touch.
Knights could really use a 2 or 3 point run here with McKinley Knight serving 13-11, Southern Virginia. Allred to Crockett to Lonis, and she was a little off balance, not able to bring that kill home. It's 13-12.
Yeah, just that's probably not the strength right now for Southern Virginia, that really quick set right in the middle. Letting Lonis have a little bit more time to look at the balls, probably better.
Crockett setting up Tiggs. A good block there by the Seagulls. I think they're going to call that a little push shot.
Well, Tiggs, they don't call. I didn't look like they called it a lift or anything, but I think she hit it into the antenna or pushed it into the antenna.
Ties the game at 13. Set 3 all tied at 13 now, as the Seagulls have gone on a run. And here is Gwen for the... No, somehow the Seagulls
they say
able to get it back across somehow. They go to Tiggs, and she got it back across. Blocked by the Knights. Great point so far. The Seagulls get the point to take the lead 14-13.
Yeah. Salisbury able to hit it off the block of the Knights that time.
So it looked like for a second or two, a couple of minutes ago, that another point or two by the Knights, and they might force the Salisbury Seagulls into a timeout, but suddenly the Seagulls go on a little run and take the lead, 14-13. And so the Knights wind up taking that timeout.
Yeah, actually, I think it's a very good timeout by the Knights. So that was a 3 or 4 point run, and in a close match like this, you're up 2-0. You probably ought to take that early timeout just to make sure the momentum doesn't get away from you. Good timeout.
Yeah, and the Knights have had their opportunities here in set 3. They've had a few service errors, which haven't really helped.
Oh, both teams just, they've been on a run, and then they serve it out. A run, serve it out, and if you're equal with the other team, well, then that's that's not so good. No, you have it.
Reminder that the soccer, men's and women's soccer team, I believe, will be on the road tomorrow at Harrisburg. And, of course, in football action, the Knights will be playing at Wesley, number 23 in the country. But we will have women's volleyball tomorrow as well, Saturday, 1 o'clock against Wesley. So make sure you join us for that tomorrow. Right now, the Knights are trying to nail down this third set and win their opening match in Capital Conference play. Allred with a miss hit. Allred will get it back across. Great dig by the Knights. Allred with the dig there. Allred with another dig. Over to Gwynn. Pops it over, but no kill. And now it's 15-13 Seagulls.
Yep. Good play by Salisbury. They hit it down the line as well. So far, the Knights have been able to block down the line a little bit better than Salisbury, but not on that one.
15-13, and some miscommunication there as Gwynn kind of backed off. Allred maybe thought she was going to go for it. Allred late getting there, 16-13 Salisbury.
Well, here's the point of the match for the Knights. If they want to win it in 3, they have to do it right here. They can't let more points go by.
Venturelli is serving. They go to Tiggs for the point.
Yeah,
16-14. And Tiggs will check out for Hoteling.
Again, we haven't mentioned it, I don't think, this match, that having a left-handed player on the right side of the court is an advantage. The ball's out in front where they can see it a little bit easier when they swing. Good play by Tiggs.
Hoteling serving, 16-14, but that served too long. Another service error for the Knights. And they've had a few of those here in set 3. It's proven to be costly.
Yeah, if the Knights don't win this particular set, they're going to look back on their service errors and wish they hadn't have done that.
Service error for Salisbury goes long, 17-15.
Still a tight set right here.
Knights would love to go on a 2 or 3 point run here. Try to draw even, then maybe go into the lead. Gwynn with the serve. That's too strong.
Oh, boy.
18-15.
How many errors is that? We'll have to check with the statistics, but no errors going to that many in just one set. That's a big turnaround.
18-15. Seagulls are trying to pull away here in set 3 after they lost the first 2 sets. Knight to Hoteling. Over to Allred. Didn't get it over the net. 19-15 Salisbury. Knights might want to maybe think about that second timeout because this set is starting to get away from them.
Yep. Can't afford to lose this point here.
Yep. And Crockett will set up low Ness, and they get the point. That was a big one.
Yeah.
19-16.
Good swing. Gave Lones a little bit longer time to look at the ball and take just a hard swing.
And Lones will serve now. 19-16. Knights really need a few points here to try to draw even. Good low serve there. Hotailing over to Crockett. All red, too strong.
Yeah, just hit it long. They're looking for a touch, but I don't.
Now.
Yep.
So it's a 4-point lead for the Seagulls.
This is interesting. They haven't been down in at the last part of the set for I don't know how many sets. So
been a while.
Yeah, they need to respond at this point. Oh, good serve.
Tough hit there by McKinley Knight. It's now 21-16 Seagulls.
Yeah, you could see that ball really sail back and forth in the gym, just floating back and forth. That was a hard serve.
And so now the Seagulls have a 5-point lead. They just need 4 points to claim set 3. Barring a big comeback here, Tom, if the Seagulls go on to win here in set 3, that makes it 2-1 in sets. Knights would still have to win one more set, either set 4 or potentially a 5th set to take this match.
You know, last season the coaches told me that from last season, this point in the game, that there were a number of matches last year where the Knights were up and the team came back, the other team came back, and the Knights ended up not winning some of those matches. And it kind of got in their heads, to be honest. All the coaches
call
are saying,
too, just missing out on the Capital Conference tournament last year.
Yeah.
And if some of those matches you talked about had gone in a different direction, the Knights probably would have made the conference tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is a critical point to see how you respond right here, especially even if they don't win the set. We keep saying that, but you've got to get momentum back on your side into the next set.
Knights have yet to lose a set at home this year so far.
Here we go. Good pass.
And Higher gets the point.
Wow. Now that's a set to Higher. She doesn't get a ton of sets right in that particular location and in that situation, but a great swing by Higher that time.
Tiggs back in for Hotailing. And Crockett serving. Knights really would love to go on a 3 or 4 point run here. Good low serve. It'll be Tiggs. And they get the point to make it 21-18.
All right, here come the Knights.
Now, if you're Salisbury, how many points do you allow potentially before you call a timeout?
Yeah, if the Knights get this one, they should call a timeout, I think.
Crockett.
Oh,
good dig
nice dig
by McKinley Knight. But no stopping that shot for Salisbury. And again, I believe that was Venturelli down the line.
Yeah, both teams hitting it down the line quite a bit. And you just got to know as a blocker that's happening at that time to make sure you seal off the line.
22-18. Salisbury just needs 3 more points. Tiggs not able to get it back across. So again, some confusion after the set by Crockett. Who was going to take that?
Yeah, the last good swing by Higher last time, but just not not a set that anybody really knew where it was going to go.
All red. Little tip down the line. 23-18 is your score. Knights not able to return it, and now it is set point for the Seagulls.
Yeah, a little tentative here by the Knights, tipping the ball more. You just got to be very strong at the end and show power. When you're up, you kind of relax a little bit, and you're able to swing harder. And you got to be able to do that even under pressure.
24-18. All red.
There's a good swing.
Blocked out of bounds. 24-19. Still plenty of set points here for the Seagulls. Knights would have to really go on basically an 8-point run to win.
Yeah. They should. The Knights could load up on the only 2 hitters over there.
They're going to get that point to make it 24-20. Well, the Seagulls have plenty of timeouts left. Question is when will they take them if they have to?
Yeah. If you look at the strategy of the blocking for the Knights, there's only 2 hitters plus the setter in the front row. They'll probably concentrate on the 2 hitters, and they do.
Blocked by the Knights.
And
they get the point to make it 24-21.
That time they sealed off the line, and they had a good block.
Seagulls will call a timeout.
Yeah, and that's a good timeout. Still 2, 3, 4, 3 match points or set points.
Yep. Set points coming up here. They've already had 3, and they've got 3 more. So it's still obviously advantage Salisbury, but the Knights are a little closer now. And if they can get another point or 2, they'll have the Seagulls thinking.
Yeah. Go back to what I said. If you don't win this set, you're going to look back and sure look at those service errors and think, wow. But
I don't know how many service errors the Knights have. At least, 3, 4, 5 here in set 3. You take those away, at least maybe even half of them. And the Knights could potentially be leading here instead of down by 3.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Another needed serve.
Allred with the serve.
But a good pass.
Blocked by the Knights, 24-22.
If you notice, the Knights blocked with all 3 blockers. They have a good system. It's a little bit intimidating. Let's see what the setter tries to do. If the setter tries to dump the ball at any time for Salisbury.
Allred serving. She got it in.
Oh.
And I think we have a lift.
Yep, they called the lift on the setter.
24-23. That's 5 straight points now by the Knights.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You might call a timeout if you're Salisbury. Maybe, maybe not. They chose not to call a timeout. This will be interesting. Big play, both sides.
Knights are trying to come all the way back from 24-18. Allred with the serve. This is still set point.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Crockett couldn't get it back across, and the Seagulls hang on for a 25-23 victory. Almost a tremendous comeback by the Knights.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was great. It was fun to watch both sides. And the hitter for Salisbury really buried the ball for the last point. Good play by Salisbury to end the set.
The Knights had a little momentum, but Salisbury ends up winning that set. So now the Knights lead in sets 2-1. And we've got the 4th set coming up, which we have not had at home so far this season. We talked about the 3 non-conference matches have all been 3-0 sweeps for the Knights. And so that's the first set they've lost at home all season long, but they played very well down the stretch. Who's got momentum, you think, here heading into the 4th set?
I'd still give the advantage to the Knights, even though Salisbury, these are 2 good teams. Everyone should realize that, and the crowd's getting in now. It's kind of that thing again where the crowd has arrived late, so there are more people here now.
When we started at 5 o'clock, it looked like a smattering of people, and now it's really full up.
Yeah, so that's a home court advantage, and I would give the advantage to the Knights. They just have to make the reason it's a little bit iffy is because I don't think the Knights have played a real hard match for quite a while. I think they went 15 sets.
Yeah.
Without losing.
Last time they lost was September the 9th at Washington Lee.
So that's 17 sets, and this is their first set loss in 17.
Yeah. Knights have won 5 straight matches. When you look beyond tonight, again, we've got Wesley coming in for Capital Conference play tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Knights will also have a road match next weekend at Frostburg, and then they've got home matches on 13th and 14th of October against York and Penn State Harrisburg. And then the Knights will have the weekend of October 21st and 28th, Tom. They're going to have 2 big road match weekends, 2 on the 20th and 21st and 2 on the 27th and 28th. So, again, the front part of their Capital Conference schedule is really heavy at home, but then they've got to go on the road the last 2 weekends.
Yeah, that it is important. This match, because of that, is so important. If the Knights don't end up winning this match, it really puts a big strain on the rest of their schedule.
Especially having led 2-0.
And it kind of gets in your head. Winning is contagious. losing is contagious, and it's just the way it is. But if they come back and win this match, now they'll say, oh, boy, look where we are in conference. We're the leaders. Nobody's ahead of us. We're 1-0, and they'll just have a lot of confidence.
We were talking about just maybe getting a split this weekend, but if they could somehow pull it out today and then beat Wesley tomorrow, they'd be right up there among the leaders. I would imagine there might be another team or two that would be 2-0 in the first weekend.
You know, I would favor them more tomorrow than I would this afternoon or this evening. So if they win this match this evening, then I think they're in very good shape for tomorrow. Talking to the coaches, I thought they had a little more confidence even in the match tomorrow than this evening. So now we go to set number 4. This is a big set.
How important is it for the Knights maybe to get off to a good start, maybe put together a little 4 or 5 point run if they could possibly do that, and really put maybe Salisbury behind the 8 ball early on?
Yeah, first point. Well, I think the most important thing to do is to come out and do what they did in the first 2 sets with their serving and passing.
Yeah, cut down on those service errors.
Yeah. Looks like the Knights get to receive starting this set.
And the Seagulls will serve here to start set 4. Allison Lorella is serving. Ball hit the ceiling. The Knights get it back across. It hit the ceiling fan. Sydney Davis tries to get the kill. Knight over to Tiggs, and that's in.
Again, having a left-handed player on that side of the court. That was a way inside the court set, but that's out in front of a left-handed hitter, and Tiggs just did a nice job of rolling it to the corner.
Especially earlier at that point, the ball hit the ceiling fan. The Knights were able to react. Knights will try to jump on top here, 2-0. Tiggs again. It is blocked. They'll go over to the other side to Gwynn. Gwynn's shot is blocked. Now Tiggs again with a little tip. And Allred gets it back across, and the Knights get the point.
Both teams scrambling. It just went the Knights' way that time.
Boy, here is where the Knights really need to go on a 4 or 5 point run to start the set, just to kind of throw Salisbury off a little bit.
Yep, Allred hasn't missed her serve that I remember. Oh, look at that. A good
3-0
ace, yeah. Indecision by the passer, and decided, it was out, but too late to get the hands out of the way.
See if the Knights can keep this run going to start set 4.
Oh.
Almost an ace there on the net. And the Knights will get that point.
Yeah.
It was ruled out. It's 4-0.
Yeah, they ruled no touch on the block, and it went long. That's
Allred
fortunate.
will keep serving here with a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, this serve should be in the court. Well, you have the momentum. Don't get in your own way.
Good serve by the Knights. It's 5-0. When will the Seagulls call a timeout? I know you don't want to call one too early, but they call a timeout with the Knights on top here. 5-0. Got a long way to go here in set 4, but it's a good beginning for the Southern Virginia University Knights.
Yeah, there's your answer. Timeout early. I actually like I think the Salisbury coach. It's hard to tell unless you're in the practice gym with a coach what they are and how much you like their coaching abilities and what they say to the players and all. But just judging from up here, we're in a window looking down onto the court. I can't even see the coach, but I can tell that this is a good coach just by how the game management goes. Good coaching on both sides. And
all this has occurred with Hannah Allred serving.
So Allred gets another chance. Again, she goes way back into the court. That to start her approach to serve. And if she doesn't make an approach up by the back line, if she serves from way back, sometimes she stays down and just serves way back there. It puts the ball in the air a long time, and it's hard to read that ball after a while.
Allred serving with a 5-0 lead.
Oh, and it's in.
It is in. It's a service ace. As Salisbury let that one go, and it just snuck inside the line to make it 6-0.
Again, that's because Allred is so far back into the court. It's hard to judge how far that ball is going.
Another serve. 6-0 Knights. Knights trying to get the kill here. They go to Allred. Returned. Allred with a great dig. It is blocked to the net, and the Seagulls will get that point to make it 6-1.
Yeah,
Salisbury really needed that point.
They did. So the Knights go from making a bunch of errors on serving now to just a bunch of aces or getting the other team out of system. What a turnaround.
See if the Knights can make sure that the Seagulls don't go on a run. Allred gets it over, but I think they're going to call her for a lift.
Yep.
6-2. And now the Seagulls are on a little 2-point run, and the Knights really have to stop this run right here and now.
When you do get a bunch of points in a row, sometimes the tendency is to relax a little bit, and that can be good or bad. A lot of times it's bad because you're just not trying as hard, or you try things that you wouldn't try normally.
Seagulls get it back across. Crockett setting up Tiggs. It is blocked, but blocked out of bounds. It is 7-2.
They
Knights
will
by
call
5.
it a touch, yes. That could have been a close call because that ball also hit into the net, but he did call a touch.
McKinley Knight serving. 7-2. Knights on top. Seagulls go to Vettorelli, and she was able to sneak it across the blockers for a slow and easy point to make it 7-3.
Yeah, both teams play a little bit different for the tip. An on-purpose tip from Salisbury has a man up, it's called, so they have somebody lining up right behind the block. But a lot of times the perimeter that the Knights play, the person is a little bit deeper, and the tip goes down a little easier.
They go to Tiggs, but that one's going to be out to make it 7-4. She tried that right side of the court, but it went a little too far. It's 7-4.
They've got to be careful not to give these points away.
Knights trying to get this point to make sure the Seagulls don't go on a big run and higher, or make that Lonis jumped a little too early, and it's now 7-5. That is 3 straight points.
Yeah, the real quick set again. The Knights are not, as good at those real quick sets right now as they are just a little bit longer.
Knights really need this point. It is blocked by the Seagulls.
Wow.
7-6.
Interesting momentum switch.
Knights started off, I believe, 6-0, and the Seagulls have outscored them 6-1. They used that timeout, and they used it to their advantage. And now it's 7-7. Knights might need a timeout. They're going to take one.
Yeah. This is it's very interesting how totally different this set is from the previous set. Now the passives are in trouble. Before it was the servers are in trouble, and now both teams kind of very tentative when they pass the ball.
Each team just seems to go from a lot of momentum, Tom, to at times sheer confusion out there.
Yeah, and when you're feeling pressure, sometimes you say, "Oh, you take the ball," and you take, and what you have to do as a player is in practice, you always have to be aggressive, and you always have to know if that ball is yours, or if you're not sure that ball is yours, you go for it. You can't let the other person take it. Especially you can't go for it a little bit and then go away from the ball. You have just to be more aggressive all the time.
Interesting. We've been seeing so many timeouts taken late in sets, and now each team has taken a timeout in the first 14 points.
Yeah, I think that's good coaching. They know that they're even with the other team, or both teams are very good teams, so you can take an earlier timeout.
Knights trying to get a good set here as Tiggs gets it across. Crockett to Gwynn. Blocked by the Seagulls. Good dig there by Knight. Tiggs. Blocked again by Salisbury. Another block by the Seagulls. Gwynn with a great down-the-line shot to make it 8-7.
Yeah, I was just going to say that Gwynn and Allred, we called their name almost, just a ton of times in the first two sets. And now we just haven't heard about them that much. So I would imagine the Knights go back to their outside pins.
O'Tailing will now serve. And it's going to be a service error. 8-8 is your score. O'Tailing almost got that across the net, which probably would have been an ace, but it turns out to be an error.
Yeah. It's hard to say, too, if fatigue has anything to do with this.
8-8 is your score here. And a mishit by Salisbury gives the Knights the lead back. And We talked about it in set 3. Here's a set 4 where the Knights really need to go on a little 4 or 5 point run to try to pull away a little bit.
Yep. When I say fatigue, it's not just the physical fatigue, but the mental fatigue kind of reacts with your body. And the Knights really haven't played a real competitive match.
It hit the ceiling fan, and that threw off Salisbury as their defensive specialist, Haley Doherty, who has 257 digs coming into the match today, not able to adjust to the ceiling fan there, and the Knights have taken a 2-point lead, 10-8.
Yeah.
And unsuccessful at the net is Swartout, and it's now 11-8 Knights, and they're trying to pull away here in set 4.
Yeah, fortunate for the Knights. You can just get that feeling they can relax just a little bit.
Good serve by Gwynn.
Oh.
And the Knights not able to handle that soft set across by the Seagulls to make it 11-9 now.
Yeah, kind of a rule of thumb is if you're a blocker, you just don't reach back behind your head to try to get a tip unless it's easy.
Allred will put it away.
Well, she hit it wide.
Hit it wide, so it's now 11-10. Knights had a 3-point lead, 11-8. Allred not able to connect on that kill, and it's now 11-10. Seagulls within 1. It'll go over to Lonis, and she'll get the point to make it 12-10 Knights. So the Knights are just barely staying ahead here in set 4.
When Lonis is in the right front, the Knights have chosen to set her a little bit higher set at the pin, actually, and Lonis is good, not just in the middle of the court, but hitting on the pin.
Lonis serving. Strange serve there, and it really took a kind of a wicked curve, and the Seagulls not able to handle that little adjustment. Looked like the wind carried it.
Yeah, and maybe it's not a curveball in baseball, but like a knuckleball. Yeah, it's a hard to pass when that wind current gets it. And I don't know if these fans have anything to do with it or not.
Well, Lonis seems to really take advantage of that with her serves. It's 13-10. She did it again.
Yeah.
Sydney Davis with a kill. Over to Allred with a tip shot. Back across goes Salisbury. Blocked by Allred.
Boy,
and
Allred.
The Knights lead 14-10.
Okay, now it's getting to the point where you can just feel like, oh boy, the Knights, if they just continue, they can run out the set and win the match.
See if they can keep it going here with Lonis. Another tough serve to handle. Sydney Davis gets the kill.
Yeah. The middle blocker for the Knights that time made the mistake of kind of jumping with the setter and not really jumping with the hitter.
So it's 14-11 now. And the Seagulls, they're trying to put together a little run here. Down by 3. Hotailing to Allred.
Oh.
And a good kill over the net by Swartout to make it 14-12.
Yeah, the Knights might think about having a man come up for the tip, or a woman in this case, but they call it a man up because of so many tips by Salisbury.
Knights really need this point. And they'll go to Higher.
Oh.
How about Lindsay? Higher.
Yeah, Higher's coming on. Higher, that was a smart play. She wasn't able to just swing at it real freely, so she tipped it to the back of the court, and that's nobody digging in that part of the court.
Crockett will serve 15-12, Knights by 3. They lead 2-1. And unsuccessful, that dig by Gwynn to make it 15-13.
Yeah, good swing by Salisbury.
Knights just have to make sure they don't allow Salisbury to go on any run here with only a 2-point lead.
Yeah.
Still a ways to go here in this 4th set. Knights won the first 2 sets. Salisbury won set 3.
Wiping up some sweat, and you want to do that because a player might slip on that.
Crockett for Allred. And she puts it down the line.
I've been impressed by Allred, and it is 16-13, and I've been impressed by Allred by how she hits it down the line.
And now she's serving. Knights see her first service error, I think, of the night.
Yeah, that could, well, maybe the second, but at that point in time, if you just let the ball go right in the middle of the court when you're standing so far back, it's still effective. She just served that too short.
16-14. Knights will try to respond with Gwynn.
Gwynn, nice swing, cross court. You know, I think it's the bread and butter of Gwynn to kind of hit down the line to the seam and more Allred hitting cross court. But tonight, they're kind of almost the opposite a little bit. Both those hitters have such range. It's fun to watch them.
17-14.
Yep.
McKinley Knight will serve as the Knights get a nice low serve by McKinley. And nobody will stop that kill shot by Salisbury. 17-15.
Yeah, number 9 for Salisbury is their best player, at least in my estimation. When she's in the front row, it seems like Salisbury does very well. And when she's in the back row, that's when the Knights usually go on the runs.
Salisbury serving. Crockett setting up Lonis. Little tip. And the Knights have their 18th point with Tiggs serving.
18-15.
Tiggs trying to get a service ace maybe, and it goes out for a service error. It's 18-16.
Is that 2 out of 3 missed serves? But they're still up. They just can't afford to keep missing serves, however, at the end of the set.
Tailing back in, it's 18-16. Venturelli into the back line now serving. Knights will try to get this big point. They'll go to Lonis. It is hit back across by Salisbury. And Gwynn gets it over. Seagulls will tip it over. Allred to Crockett to Gwynn. And it is blocked, but it's blocked successfully by Salisbury to make it 18-17.
Yep, Salisbury in the correct angle that was being hit that time. Good block.
This is anybody's set now. It's just a 1-point lead for the Knights. Gwynn blocked again by the Seagulls. Lonis will tip it over. Blocked again. Allred to Gwynn.
Oh.
And it is blocked out of bounds, and this game is tied 18-18 here in set 4. I'm wondering if the Knights might need a timeout. They look a little tired.
Yeah, they do. It's fatiguing when you get under pressure, and if you haven't had that match under pressure for a while, just the end of the set's a little bit different in your physical play.
Service error for Salisbury, and the Knights get a gift. It's 19-18 here again with Gwynn serving is where the Knights would love to go on a little 2 or 3 point run, try to get that cushion back.
Yeah. Gwynn is a good server.
19-18. Knights just need to win this set to win the match.
Good pass. A
Blocked
good block
by the Knights.
Now we're in an angle where we can tell where the block is being placed down the line, cross court, and that time Crockett was down the line right in front of the ball where she wasn't on the previous.
And the Knights have a 2-point lead. 5 points to go.
That was a big one. And a timeout.
So the Knights holding on to a 2-point lead here, 20-18. They won the first set 25-20, took the second set 25-18. Salisbury was able to hang on in set 3 25-23, and now the Knights with a 2-point lead, but really this is anybody's set. Even though the Knights have the inside advantage, they just need 5 points to go. Salisbury needs 7.
Yeah, like you said, it's anybody's set. I call them games. It's hard to get used to calling them sets.
Yep.
Officially a set. But, yeah, it is anybody's set at this point in time, and it means the match. Now, this is just so fun when you have two good teams going at it and it goes down to the wire. And actually, this is good for the Knights, for Southern Virginia, to have to be pushed like this. And if they're fortunate enough to come out on top, it's probably even better for them if they were to win a match very easy.
And needless to say, they don't want this to go to a 5th set, so they just need to keep rolling here, 5 points away from a match victory with Gwynn serving.
Nice serve.
And it hooks in. Salisbury thought it was headed out.
Yeah.
The Knights get a service ace from Gwynn to make it 21-18.
Yeah, big serve, big ace.
See
and
if
here's
Gwynn
another
can
one.
keep it going.
And a short one. It's
another ace. And is that the third ace that has hit the net and dropped over?
Yeah. You live by the ace and you die by the air. Right now they're living by the ace.
22-18, 3 points to go.
Good serve again. And a
hit.
lift.
Lift.
Yeah,
23-18.
Boy, that really gave a lot of momentum. And just the Knights, if they just play even now the rest of the way, they should win this game.
They
And
just need 2 more points.
Match, yeah.
And Gwynn has really done the job serving. Another low serve. And another point for the Knights.
Now that's a back row setter. The Salisbury had their setter in the back row, and she cannot go up to play the ball. If the ball is blocked, they call that a back row setter. That's a point, and match point now.
Match point after the Knights took a timeout, 20-18. It's now 24-18. Salisbury gets it across, and Gwynn not expecting that.
Yep.
24-19. Still lots of opportunities here for match points, though, for the Knights.
Yeah, liberos aren't supposed to get kills, but I guess that's what the statistic will say.
So it's 24-19.
All right, but a little wiggle room now. You can do a few things here. If you're the Knights, you can kind of relax and just take a big old swing. And when you take a big old swing, maybe you get blocked once in a while, but usually good things will happen. I would just set it out to All Red right here. Let her swing hard.
Good swing
and
by All Red. It's out, and the Knights win the match.
What a great match. Both good teams. What a great start of the season for Southern Virginia.
So the Knights win
19-25.
And that's 3 sets to 1. Again, recapping, the Knights won the first set 25-20, 25-18 in set 2. Salisbury took set 3 25-23, and the Knights pull away.
Well, they now put it up to 20, 25-20.
So the Knights win that last set 25-20 and take the match 3 sets to 1. And again, to recap that last set, it was 20-18. The Knights saw a timeout taken on the court. The Knights were able to run off 4 straight points, including a couple service aces, and then they go on to win 25-20. So they win this match 3 sets to 1.
It's very interesting. At the right time, the aces came and no missed serves, and Gwynn was the kind of the hero tonight right at the end, serving some aces. But I would be worried just at both teams, just the serve and serve receive. You can't miss that many serves against a team that's not missing. And luckily, both teams were kind of going back and forth tonight.
Well,
but it was fun.
I think you mentioned the stamina. I mean, not just the physical stress of 4 sets, but maybe the stress of the Capital Conference opener. And the Knights have this behind them now, and that's got to take some of the pressure off for tomorrow.
I really think this match was huge for Southern Virginia. It just gives them so much confidence. Winning is contagious, and now they know that they're just this good team. They played a good team. They won, and they won in pretty good fashion, actually, 3-1. And now they go to play a team that they're probably thinking they should beat. They're going to have a lot of confidence tomorrow and then going into the rest of the conference.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there were those who entered this weekend thinking, let's just get a split and we'll go from there. And now, obviously, the Knights are thinking of a weekend sweep.
Now they have to be disappointed if they don't win both matches after beating a good Salisbury team.
Well, Salisbury with the loss, 0-1 in the conference, 11-6 overall, but the Knights are now 1-0 in the conference, 10-4 overall, and Tom, they've won 6 straight matches.
Oh, I don't know when the last time Southern Virginia was 10-4, but it's been a while, and in a good conference. You can just tell how good the team is, but how good the coaching is. And look at the crowd. The crowd is much bigger than it ever has been. So many exciting things are happening right now for Southern Virginia.
Yeah, great to see all the crowd, the students congratulating the women's volleyball players on their big win tonight.
Yeah, it was a great evening for Southern Virginia.
And now the Knights again will look ahead to Saturday. Saturday, 1 o'clock against Wesley. Wesley was playing at Frostburg tonight in their conference opener. And again, to recap, the Knights winning here 3-1 over Salisbury. And now, Tom, they've got a chance again on Saturday to try to make it 2 in a row in the conference.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you're where you can come and watch the match, now you should come and watch a hot team, Southern Virginia, and it does start at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
So the Knights, again, victorious as they were able to win the first 2 sets. They almost won that third set, Tom, but could not make the comeback in set 3. Salisbury won that set 3, and then the Knights were able to stave off Salisbury. That was really a game Salisbury club, too.
Yeah, it's hard to beat another good team 3-0. And I thought the Knights just were very even in all those statistics except the serving. We do have a few stats here if we want to take just a minute. It looks like actually because of some swings out of bounds and some errors that Salisbury ended up getting a higher hitting percent. No, I'm sorry. It's 261 for Southern Virginia and 257. That's very, very even.
11 service errors by the Knights, and a lot of them occurred obviously in set 3 and set 4.
Well, am I correct? There were no service errors going into set 3. So that's a big
Well, look
thing.
at these numbers. Larry Crockett, 45 assists tonight, 45 of 46 for Larry.
Yeah.
And the Knights were letting kills by Allred with 17, 15 for Gwynn, 19 for Venturelli for Salisbury. She led all players with kills. The digs, the Knights were led by Allred with 11. You could see why Hannah Allred was the Capital Conference Player of the Week.
Yeah, most coaches like to talk about hitting percentage, and Hannah Allred, once again, 375. You'll take that any night. And to lead the team with digs, that
look at
so nice.
Venturelli, 378 percentage. Problem with
Let's
Venturelli,
see
Allred got a lot of support elsewhere. Venturelli, I think, for Salisbury, didn't get too much support from her teammates tonight.
Yeah,
except Swartout, who was at 400.
Yeah, and with 25 swings. But with 37 swings at the ball, Venturelli is their player. And she is very, very impressive. Very powerful kid, 5'9", hitting 378 against a good team and still not winning the match. That means you're a good player.
Well, I'll tell you, and the Knights had 11 service errors, but they also had 16 aces.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, those aces that and if you look at the other team, Salisbury only had 4 aces compared to 16. So that's a huge, huge difference. And looking at it as a coach, if you just look at the statistics, you would say, hey, that's a great night. But what's even more fun for Southern Virginia is they know that they missed a lot of serves that they just didn't need to. So that's even better for Southern Virginia to go back to the practice gym and work on their serving.
So congratulations once again to Nicole Gwynn and the Southern Virginia University women's volleyball team. In 4 sets, they defeat Salisbury to win their opening match in the Capital Conference. Congratulations to the Southern Virginia University women's volleyball team, and good luck coming up on Saturday when they take on Wesley here at the Knight Sports Arena Saturday at 1 o'clock. That'll wrap things up here from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Tom Peterson, our director Craig Reese, and all of our fantastic production staff here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us, everyone, for women's volleyball. Have a great evening.